Hello and welcome to the news at 7 on NT International. I am Kendi Olale. Thanks for joining us. Now the headlines. National security issues engage attention of security chiefs, but President Muhammadu Buhari. Senate passes new minimum wage amendment bill, advises Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning to commute amount required for payment. Nigerian Immigration Service apprehends 8 suspected human traffickers en route Europe through Libya. Now the news in details. High-level talks on nation's security situation has ended at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the meeting summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari was attended by the Minister of Defense, Mansour Danali, the National Security Advisor, Babangana Mungunu, the Chief of Defense Staff and all service chiefs. Also in attendance were the Inspector General of Police, Director General, Department of State Service and the National Intelligence Agency, as well as the Chief of Defense Intelligence. The meeting lasted for about 3 hours behind closed doors, but details were not made public. NT News, however, gathered that the security chiefs were engaged by the President on their roles and responsibilities in maintaining internal security, as well as protecting the nation's territorial integrity. Discussions also centered on some security concerns in the part of the country and far-reaching measures taken towards ensuring lasting solution since coming to power. Security remains one of the cardinal objectives of the Buhari presidency in its determination to effectively manage the country for sustainable development.
We want to disrupt the process to rethink, because during the presidential election, we had some few challenges here and there. Those challenges will not allow them to repeat themselves. We are taking more security measures to address those pockets of challenges we notice. So, torture again is not allowed. Ballot snatching is not allowed. Disruption of the process of the election is not allowed. We have resolved, the security personnel have resolved to deal ruthlessly with anybody that attempts to disrupt the process of this election. For that reason, we expect in every state the conduct of the election to be respected. We expect that electoral materials must not be tampered with. We expect that the INEC officials will do their work without fear or favor and without being allowed to be compromised. The same thing, the security personnel are to perform their duties without allowing themselves to be compromised.
The Buhari Support Organization Niger States Chapter has reaffirmed its determination to promote President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. The state coordinator of the organization, Umar Shaibu, stated this at a meeting in Mina to appreciate members for their contribution. The report.
The meeting, which had coordinators drawn from the 25 local government areas of the state, is at the instance of the state executive to appreciate them for their support and collaboration that culminated in the success of President Muhammadu Buhari and all APC candidates at the polls. The state coordinator, BSO, Mala Umar Shuaibu, lauded efforts of the local government coordinators for their continued support and cooperation throughout the election period, even as he appealed to them to sustain the tempo. He enumerated some of the achievements of the present administration in the last 4 years, adding that Nigerians should expect more of developmental initiative.
We support the government policy, even when we did in 2015. When we finished the election in 2015, whatever policies the government has in place, the Buhari Support Organization support that policy and make sure that it succeeds.
The meeting featured presentation of letter of appreciation to BSO members in the state. In Mina, Suleiman Kodogi, NTA News.
The Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on the victory in the presidential election. In a statement by its president, Most Reverend Gustin Akubeze, the Bishops' Conference expressed appreciation for President Buhari's acceptance speech, which recognized the need for an inclusive government. The statement notes the present administration's passion for good governance and urge all to join hands with those declared winners in order to move the country forward. Also, President Moon Jae-in of the Republic of Korea has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari on his re-election. Writing to the Nigerian leader on behalf of the government and people of the Republic of Korea, President Jae-in says he hopes that under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigeria will continue to achieve political stability and economic prosperity. A statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Gal Bashir, states that the Korean president pledged his country's continuous cooperation to develop diplomatic relations with Nigeria. And now to some good news. Senators passed the National Minimum Wage Amendment Bill. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports that the legislators approved 30,000 naira new minimum wage for Nigerian workers.
Minimum Wage Act.
2 months ago, the National Assembly received the National Minimum Wage Amendment Bill from the Executive. The House of Representatives passed the bill before it embarked on its election races and approved 30,000 as new minimum wage. The Senate has passed the bill and also approved 30,000 naira. Senator Francis Alimi-Kena presented the report of the ad hoc committee on the national minimum wage, which was unanimously adopted.
The Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning should, as a matter of urgency, compute and forward to the National Assembly for inclusion in the 2019 budget the actual amount required for the new national minimum wage.
This administration has fulfilled its promise to do this, give a new national minimum wage to the Nigerian workers, and it has fulfilled that promise.
And it is not worth it if we make this constitutional amendment only for states not to be able to pay.
And we hope with this, our workers too will double their efforts, increase productivity, and as such, general productivity of the country also would improve. So I congratulate you all, and I hope that immediately this implementation will start.
The ad hoc committee also urged the federal government to put in place a new revenue sharing formula that will enhance the capacity of states to pay the new wage, as it also recommends 75,000 naira as fine for organizations that fail to keep the records of their employees. Financial matters continued on the floor as Senate rounded off debate on the general principles of the 2019 appropriation bill and referred it to the Senate Committee on Appropriation.
For us to have accelerated growth, we need more injection into capital expenditure.
I am proposing 500,000 houses in Nigeria, funded by the pension fund, guaranteed by the government.
And I'm happy that this budget tries to address it and try to support the growth of these small and medium-scale industries.
The sad demise of two illustrious
A motion by Senator Olubenga Ashafa commends the federal government for its swift action in checking the operations of Boeing 737 MAX 8 series in Nigeria, as he also called for a minute silence in honor of the 2 Nigerians who lost their lives in the recent Ethiopian Airlines crash. Ambassador Abiodun Bashua and Professor Pius Adesomi.
The Federal Ministry of Aviation and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to ensure that all aircrafts operating within Nigeria are airworthy.
Mr. President's request for the confirmation of the nominees as chairman and commissioners of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission has been referred to the Senate Committee on National Planning to report back in 2 weeks. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Unko, NTN News.
Still on legislative matters, a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Law Reform Commission to pave way for enactment of the Nigerian Law Reform Commission has passed second reading at the House of Representatives. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has details of this and other matters tabled Tuesday's plenary.
The Nigerian Law Reform Commission bill being repealed and reenacted was forwarded from the Senate for concurrence. It seeks to facilitate effective implementation of proposed law reforms for enhanced performance.
Mr. Speaker, this bill
if passed, will address delays in implementation of the Commission's report, challenges of inadequate funding, improve the administrative capacity, and enhance collaborations with other ministries, departments, and agencies.
The bill was referred to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative action. House Committee on Basic Education and Services also presented reports on 4 bills, one of which is a bill that seeks to make agricultural science a core and compulsory subject in secondary schools. While on matters of urgent public importance, Minority Whip Yakubu Beride's motion calling on authorities to stem the tide of killings in Kajuru in Kaduna State was adopted, as well as Representative Kolade Akinjo's motion on payments and training of beneficiaries under the Presidential Amnesty Program.
Some of the beneficiaries deployed for the 2017/2018 academic section have been paid, while others are unjustifiably denied payment for their monthly stipends and allowances, running into about 12 months concurrently.
The House has suspended plenary to April 2nd, 2019 to fast-track budget defense at committee levels. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Moving on now, the Delta State government is ready to partner the Nigerian Prison Service to build skill acquisition centers to aid the reformatory process of the inmate. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa gave the commitment when he received members of the Presidential Committee on Prison Reforms. Ifoma Okafo has details.
The chairman of the Presidential Committee on Prison Reforms, Justice Ishaku Bello, is on advocacy visit to seek the partnership of the state governments in establishing skills acquisition centers for prison formations.
The evil that we are trying to address is what may happen if after acquiring such skills or credentials, they are out and no gainful employment for them because they are seen as convicts. They may turn against the society with more viciousness, with more sophisticated intellect than they had before they get into the prison.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa frowned at the high rate of crime and the decayed facilities in the prisons, which has fallen short of international standard of reforms. He called for a review of prison laws that will provide adequate orientation for inmates after they exit from prisons.
We will do the best that we can. We do know that some of the issues raised, we've already started in this state, and we're looking forward to partnering with the prisons to see what we can do. From the office of the SSG, we've occasionally given assistance, but I also know that in the initiative, the 05 initiative run by my wife and her team, they've been doing a lot to see how they can attend to easing off the pains that we find in congested prisons.
The Presidential Committee on Prison Reforms is mandated to decongest prisons across Nigeria. In Asaba, Ifoma Okafo, NTA News.
Kano State Commander of the Nigerian Immigration Service has apprehended 8 suspected human traffickers on the way to Europe through Libya. The suspects were intercepted by the operations team of the regular migration along with the facilitator, Mohammed Rabiu Ali. Reports that the command has deployed modern techniques in this lodging syndicate who take Kano to the transit point.
These are the suspected victims said to have traveled from Benin City en route Kano to Niger Republic for Europe in search of greener pasture. Among them, a 5-year-old child. This is not the first time the operation team of irregular migration is bringing down migrants who do not want good for themselves.
The agents who are the traffickers, on realizing that we have apprehended these people, have abandoned them. And each of these victims paid huge sums of money to the so-called agents who are supposed to freight them from Nigeria.
Controller of Immigration Kano therefore urged parents not to allow their wards to be induced by worldly life, stressing that Nigeria will be better for all.
That there is no pasture that is greener than the country where you belong to. Out there, it is not rosy. It is not green. It is damage and destruction that awaits people that go there. they go through a lot of slavic conditions, go through a lot of inhumane conditions in those countries, and they cannot go there and have reasonable and sensible jobs to do. It's never like home.
The 8 suspected traffickers will be handed over to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons for further interrogation. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy is working to consolidate on the security of country's maritime environment and enhance capacity of the local content. The Director of Navy Information, Suleiman Down, at a Qatar visit to NTA said the Navy is addressing piracy along the Gulf of Guinea. Khalil Mohammed reports.
Maritime environment and the Gulf of Guinea in general was bedeviled by activities of pirates and oil thieves, until the Nigerian Navy came up with strategies to check their activities. The Navy embarked on 13 major operations, with Tereteku being key to making the country's maritime environment safe and conducive for legitimate business.
From all indications, and you could verify from our strategic partners like the oil producing trade section, the Shippers Council, and other maritime operations. That operation has been able to stem the tide of piracy in our waters.
NTA's Executive Director News, Mohammed Lebo, acknowledged the efforts of the Navy in securing Nigeria's coastal economy from the activities of pirates and other maritime criminals.
A few years back, Nigerian coastal areas were becoming terribly insecure, very unsafe. And it was a cause for concern to not only Nigeria but the international community. The activity of pirates and oil thieves. But in the last few years, the Navy has upped its game and has restored sanity and security in not only the Nigerian coastal areas but the Gulf of Guinea.
The NTA's management expressed readiness to partner with the Navy to promote naval brilliance in the effort to make Nigeria's waters safe. In Abuja, Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. Time now for a short break. More news when we return. Thank you for staying with us. Moving on to agricultural reports. Towards achieving Nigeria's drive to diversify the economy, experts in animal production are drawing the attention of the federal government on the need to invest more on repositioning the livestock industry for sustainable economic development. The professionals made the passionate appeal during the 4th Annual Conference of the Nigerian Society for Animal Production held in Abuja. Justin Bentley reports.
In the face of recent dwindling oil fortunes, the Nigerian government, like other nations, has been instituting major policies towards diversifying the economy. Consequently, the government has recorded an unprecedented success story in agricultural development. But despite commendations from professionals in the sector, they are saying the crop production subsector has received a maximum attention from the government, leaving the vast livestock production potential largely untapped to further boost the economy and food security. Reports from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture indicated that the Nigerian livestock industry's productivity falls far short of national requirements and below levels required to supply the current and projected national demand for animal protein and other products in line with temporal population trends. Experts are now calling for an urgent need to revolutionize livestock production in Nigeria, as they provide the needed professional roadmap to reposition the sector.
In animal agriculture, not much is invested in it. Perhaps maybe because of the risk of associated with livestock production. But I believe that the federal government should do more, in making credits, money, loans available to the livestock farmers and the stakeholders.
So if you want to find another alternative beside oil that can boost the economy of the country, then agriculture is it.
So we need government intervention. If you go throughout this country, go to faculties of agriculture, where we're supposed to have well-established livestock farms, it's not there. So we need government to come to our aid so that our faculties of agriculture, Department of Animal Science, will have farms that can even take care of the communities around.
The conference was also a time for the investiture of fellows on 4 distinguished scholars who are eminent members. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
And for development from the world of business, Chair Eki is standing by.
A very warm welcome to Business News. Nigeria's 2018 budget of 9.1 trillion naira had 5% of it allocated to the health sector. However, experts say this will not be enough for the needed health care of over 200 million citizens. It has now become expedient that public funds be properly and efficiently utilized with compliments from the private sector. The Ministry of Budget and National Planning, through the Budget Office of the Federation, is championing an alliance of players in the health and financial sectors to explore and share strategies on how to maximize value for money in public health.
Even though the national health, notwithstanding the very tight revenue constraints and notwithstanding the demands of other competing sectors, there has been increased federal allocations to health. However, and this is important, there is a need to ensure that these increased expenditures are actually improving healthcare outcomes. We must be able to show that we are getting value for the public funds allocated for expenditure.
Value for money in the health sector is about maximizing the impact of each naira spent to improve people's lives.
And the Director General of Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Muda Yusuf, says that what the 5 trillion naira textile industry needs at the moment is a trade policy and not a monetary policy for its effective delivery. This is coming on the heels of imposed restriction of forex access to importers of textiles. According to LCCI, the move would have great implication of over 500,000 jobs provided by the industry. That's the package. I'm Chiazala Eki.
Thank you, Chiazala. President Muhammadu Buhari sends condolence to families who have lost loved ones, homes and means of livelihood in Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Malawi as tropical cyclone Ida takes a toll on southern Africa. The president deeply shares in the pain and struggle of the government and the people in the region who have been working hard to ensure safety of citizens and minimize the devastating effect of the cyclone. President Buhari assures the government and the people of Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Malawi of the prayers and support of Nigeria as they pass through a trying period, while commending all the humanitarian organizations for their intervention. Let's now take a look at Wednesday's weather prospects for Nigeria and some cities of the world. And that's all on the news at 7. Stay tuned to NTA for more news update. I'm Kende Olale. Thanks for watching.